very eager. They've got itchy feet, being sitting at home, not having to go anywhere. And this is historic time. We have just come out of the 3-day, lockdown of Brisbane and Greater Brisbane. And I think well done, Queenslanders. They've done very well. But right now, let's welcome Tanvi from Oz India Travel to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Umesh. Thank you, everyone. First of all, happy Makar Sankranti, happy Lodi, happy Pongal, happy Bihu. It's so amazing. I know here we are locked up in house and can't see, enjoy or see festivals around. But I hope you all are enjoying with your family and friends. So congratulations. We have come to 2021 with full excitement, and I'm sure it will be great. So guys, today is our 13th episode. Really very, very excited to be with you again, and we got another lot of information with updates for you. Before we go ahead, I would like to inform that in today's episode, all the information provided are general information only. For all up-to-date information, please check regular updates from government and all relevant websites. And yeah, we'll come back to you with more updates as well. Umesh.
And thank you very much. Season's greetings with all the festivals that are happening at this time. And you know what? It is the same as White Christmas. Christmas in England and London is White Christmas, where they have all this snow. And same thing with Lodi, because in India it's winter. And here it is, peak summer. So, the touch and the feel is slightly different. But nevertheless, the spirit always lives on there. So, okay, moving on. What are the main updates for this week?
Umesh, as you mentioned about the lockdown, again, after lockdown, our premier came back. And not only that, even all around Australia, and if people fly domestically or they go international, it has become mandatory to use face masks. So even in public and in flights as well. So it doesn't matter if someone is going on check-in, you're going on airport, or you are sitting in a flight all the time, you have to wear the mask. There is just one exception. If you are medically informed by a practitioner that you can't use it, then you can be exempted. Or if you are less than 12 years old, then you can't. But yes, it's really mandatory. And guys, one more thing, we were watching as well in one of the travel updates where they said people are putting masks, but mask is just still here. So make sure your mouth and your nose are covered when you're using the face mask. It's very important, not only for you, but for all of us. So that's very, very important. With that, also, please make sure all the state border travel restrictions are also in place. They are also keep changing every day. For example, some of the government, let's say, and Victoria and New South Wales, they have made some border pass mandatory. People might need some pre-approval. They're asking for some quarantine as well. So these restrictions are changing every day. Previously, when you have a flight from Sydney or Melbourne, like we have been discussing from last 12 weeks as well, that you didn't have to take the permits. But since now it's mandatory, even though you have your domestic flight, you have your mask on, you have your international flights, it's mandatory in some states that you have their entry permit. So please make sure you have one. And also, if you go on that particular state's website, they have the categories there. So please opt the category where it says that you are transiting or taking the next flight, if you're going for the flight option, taking your next flight from particular airport. So that's something very, very important. Please make sure you have that handy before you fly. And yeah, it's very, very important. And also all the relevant travel documentation as well. For example, the COVID test. So previously, it was not mandatory in your domestic flights that if you don't have it. But remember, now onwards, they might ask you for the COVID test negative result as well. I was told by a couple of passengers they were asked. So please make sure you have all the documents handy before you go. Now, I also want to tell you about some flights which were suspended. If you remember last week when we were talking, it was suspended up till 8th of January. But these are the same sectors now suspended up till 17th of January. Let me just tell you the airport names as well. So flights between Sydney and Avalon, Sydney and Perth, Sydney to Darwin, Sydney and Hamilton Island, Sydney and Townsville, Sydney and Sunshine Coast, and Sydney and Gold Coast. So flight between those sectors are suspended by Jetstar specifically, and even other carriers also suspending a lot of other flights, even between Melbourne and Brisbane and Melbourne and Sydney. So please make sure if you are taking any flight further or you're going for holidays or any particular reason, make sure you're checking whether your flight is still active, flight is still operating, or whether you have to change the date or go from there. Now there is one more update from Jetstar. That's about they were actually planning to have some flights between Melbourne and Brisbane. That's Western Australia and Victoria, which was scheduled to start in February, but now they are planning to start that in June, late June. So which may have three flights a week, but at this stage they have postponing considering the current situation. There is some update from Virgin Australia as well. So Virgin Australia are planning to open some lounges. They are between in Perth and Gold Coast. Considering there are so many people flying, domestically, and because of COVID, they don't want to expose many places. Though still the existing lounges, they don't have the shower facility or wallet facilities, but at least there will be places you can go and sit and relax. So yeah, in Perth and Gold Coast, the more lounges are expected to be coming soon. Now another good update from Virgin Australia Group is they are expanding their partnership with Air Canada. So that will allow you to get the Velocity frequent flyer points, and also they'll give you status credits on your selected flights with Air Canada traveling between Australia, Vancouver and beyond. So yeah, anything between these two sectors, you might expect more options coming your way. To be eligible for that, you must go on the Air Canada website and add your Velocity frequent flyer points yourself. So even you are booking with your travel agent, you have to give them your Velocity numbers and also go on the Air Canada website and put it over there. Now there was one update from Cathay Pacific, and this time with Cathay Pacific Cargo. They have announced the launch of Ultra Track. That's a next generation track and trace system, they call it. They're planning that especially for the transshipment of COVID-19 vaccine around the globe. So that's really great news for us. When I even myself read anything about the vaccine and COVID-19, my bulb kind of lights up like, okay, things are definitely going back to place. So yes, Cathay Pacific Cargo is planning to start that, which is great. Now, another update is from Emirates. Emirates is planning the US expansion. So they are resuming non-stop services from Dubai to Dallas, from San Francisco to North American networks to around 10 cities, which will be great. And they're planning to operate that around 4 times a week. And there'll be some DFW flights also coming around 3 times a week. So hopefully we'll have some more options from Australia as well, but at this stage at least they have options from Dubai, and hopefully we'll be able to take flight from Australia to Dubai and Dubai to further in future. There is one more update from Thailand. So you must have heard there are a lot of restriction happened in Thailand, but Thailand is planning to still have some flights. They have reduced though a lot of flights, at least up till 27th of March. They have single flight Thai Airways including for Sydney, Frankfurt, London, Seoul and Tapai. But yeah, you will see their schedules are a lot less till 27th of March. Guys, I have really very exciting news for those who are still waiting to listen about New Zealand. So finally something came up for New Zealand, though it's the flights not open, but the Gold Coast and Queenstown in New Zealand, you might see some new private jet service coming up. There is an entrepreneur called Calvin Carley. He's planning, some special charter planes, and you'll be surprised to see that the fares is around $3,000 one way, and that's a 3.5 hours flight, and that will give you a nice quality champagne or some nice quality food, and hopefully if that happens, then you might have a two-way bubble also can happen for this luxurious kind of jet, and that can accommodate for 12 people. So which means you might have your own jet for your family getaway to New Zealand. I'm really quite excited for that, and I thought it's better I just share with you all that something like this is happening, and I hope it should be clear in next few months. There is one update from Fiji Airways as well. We got so many passengers asked in last few weeks about Fiji and about the repatriation flights and all, and very very happy to share with you all that. There are some Fiji Airways repatriation flights happening from January till March. And as I was checking, I was so happy to see that Brisbane is one of them. So there'll be flights from Nadi to Brisbane and Nadi to Sydney and also going back as well. So these flights are 2 to 3 times a week to Australia and coming back. And that's till end of the March 2021 as of now. So yes, those who are from Fiji got stuck in Australia, you have option to go back, and I think Australians who are stuck in Fiji can come back as well. So that's really fantastic news. If you have to go back to Fiji, please look out for this space, and we'll be probably sharing more news with you in next few days or next week as well. Now, there is one more news from the travel insurance side. That's from Covermore. They have revealed they're gonna introduce a new app designed for basically travelers who are flying overseas, especially those who need emergency services, and they're planning to launch this one in the next quarter, maybe next few months. So in that app, you will have option. You'll have all emergency contact numbers, assistance, what all things will be required. So it will be quite easy for you to interact and do things. So yes, that was another great news I thought of sharing with you. That's the main updates for now. Umeshji?
It is exciting news that there are the flights to Fiji there as well for Fiji citizens and approved the travelers as well. So that is wonderful, and it's good that you have shared the news there with everyone as well. And of course, I was very interested in that flight that's going to happen to New Zealand. Getting that private jet of your own. Oh my God, yeah, that sounds good. High quality food, 12 people, 3.5 hours of bliss.
A nice champagne and nice food
when we look at when we're looking at Brisbane. So what are the options from Brisbane at this point in time?
Okay, Meiji, the exciting thing is the next upcoming flight is 26 Feb from Brisbane. So 29th January, guys, you must have heard, but that one is already sold out. If you still need it, I might try, because in every flight there are 10 to 15 cancellations. So if you need it, you can still contact us and we will let you know if that's possible. But if you want to make sure and want to book it straight away, you have option 26th of February. That exactly the same flight. That's Malindo flight. Fare start from $1,099 for 15 kilos, and we have a 30 kilos and 40 kilos option as well in economy, and the fare is up to $1,299. And also the business class is available for $1,999. There are some discounts also happening. So if you want to have a direct charter easy option, you can take this charter, and this charter, guys, is connected to all the cities in India as well. So, and that's the shortest flight, departing around 5 o'clock from Brisbane and reaching Delhi 7 o'clock. And then we have after 5-6 hours connection to all cities in India. Now, the next available option, guys, is Emirates. So Emirates is also going pretty much 1 or 2 flights a week from Brisbane. Their fares start from $1,125. Just remember, Emirates is going with longer hauls, so 17 to 23 hours. You might need a lounge or hotel for that, which we can apply as well. So that's not a problem. And also, if you want to take a flight from any other cities, to be very frank, at this stage, we are not recommending you to take flights from Sydney or Melbourne. And that's very, very important for you. As I mentioned, these days they're asking you to have some entry permits as well. And entry permit is also subject to availability, and a lot more conditions are there. So I would say please go via Melbourne, Sydney only if it's very, very important for you. Apply for permits and all. Otherwise, try to take the charter on 26 February or go with Emirates is what I would recommend at this stage, Umeshi.
And that is again very wonderful news. I was looking at that the Melinda Airlines and the business class at 1999. That sounds very good.
Yep.
But do they have lounges in, say, Brisbane?
No, Macy, at this stage, most of the airlines are not giving lounges because of COVID. It's all closed, and I don't think so. I'm not aware, but I'll definitely check on that and come back to you about the lounges if there is any update about it.
No problem at all. Now, moving on, of course, next stop is Sydney. So what's the update for flights from Sydney?
So Macy, from Sydney, the Vande Bharat mission flights are also going. They have flight pretty much every week or up till 30th January. And the fare start for Vande Bharat mission flight is $70-$90. That's for those who want to have a direct flight without any stops. But if you are connecting to any other cities, it may be problematic for you if Air India doesn't have options straight. But if you want to go with charters, there are quite a few options up till February. So next available is 21st of January, then 30th of January, 13th Feb, 18th Feb, 25th Feb to Bangalore, and 27th Feb. So let me just clear once again, guys, those who needs to go to Bangalore, the only remaining flight right now from Sydney to Bangalore is on 25th of February. All other flights are going Sydney to Delhi. Amazing.
Right, so we have got Sydney covered now, and of course whenever I talk about Melbourne, there's a smile on your face always. So right now, let's check about Melbourne and see what's happening from there.
Okay, so I am smiling because all Melbourne always have the best options, and Melbourne is the only one right now. Those who got the Singapore lines, except the Bangalore flight on 25th of February, Melbourne is the only one who got the Singapore lines charters, which I know so many people excited about. So Singapore lines flight, guys, on 22nd of Jan, 5th of February, and 19th February. These are direct charters from Melbourne to Delhi, around 14-15 hours, and the fare of that one starts around $1,399 for 40 closed option, and they have business class as well. And if you want to have a slightly cheaper option, you can have a Sri Lankan Airlines, and Sri Lankan Airlines is also 1 or 2 flights a week till February. So next available is 23rd of January, 29th January, 11th February, 18th February, 20th February, and 25th February. So there are quite a few options from Melbourne to Delhi at this stage. Amazing.
That's wonderful news once again from Melbourne. Quite a few options there, which is great.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now the other side of Australia, Perth. So what's the update from Perth to India?
Okay, so Perth got only one flight, which is almost sold out as well. So I would say the last few flights, guys, last few seats available, and that's the only flight, 21st of January, and the fare start $1,490, and that can be connected all around India as well. So please make sure if you need one of those flights, you just book it fast. So yeah, it's still available.
Still available, and that is wonderful news there. Well, moving on, we also always cover people who are in India and who need to get to Australia. So what's the update in that situation? I know you always mention that people need to be registered, but what's the situation there now?
Amazing, exactly. Right now, it's still the same situation. I heard there are some flights, 3-4 flights scheduled to come. But once again, those who are registered with DFAT can get the information when to do that. For Qantas flight, only DFAT is calling very selected number of people, and for Air India, people have to book themselves. But I was checking with some of the charter companies recently, and we were discussing about the charters. So we are optimistic, and maybe in next few months we might see some charters coming, and booking may start soon as well. So whenever that starts, we'll definitely come back to you. But at this stage, there is really no option from India for us to book. But yeah, just stay tuned, and hopefully there'll be more flights. But guys, here I would again remind you to please join the Australian Stuck in India Facebook page, because that's the most amazing platform where you can have all the up-to-date information from the passengers who are successful to come back in the last few days. People are still trying all different routes, but that's not recommended. Please wait for your turn and keep yourself updated with DFAT, and call them and tell them it's important for you. Other than that, there is really no other update from India to Australia at this stage, Umeshi.
And once again, thank you very much for that update. I know it is hard for people who are stuck, but of course, if they follow all the protocols and if they keep up to date, and that Facebook page that you have mentioned as well, if they're on there, they can probably get all the. So, I mean, that's the update from India to Australia. Now, what do you have in the way of tips and advice for people traveling at this point in time?
My first tip would be having extra mask with you guys. So I saw in last few days some people didn't carry the mask. They said they thought airlines gonna give you. Most of the airlines are giving you mask. That's not a problem, but you have to have the mask before you leave home. I got one of the passenger called me, ma'am, sorry, I left the mask in the car. I left the mask, somewhere else. So please make sure you have one extra mask in your bag as well, and one wearing. So one extra mask is really definitely recommended at this stage, because guys, since it's mandatory to carry or wear it, so they might stop you boarding the plane as well. So please make sure, or even entering the plane, they might ask you to please go and get the mask first before you enter the airports. So please avoid these circumstances and carry one extra mask with you. That's very, very important. Now, if you are flying with any of the domestic flights, once again, I want to give you a tip, which is please make sure that to check whether you need permit or not. Please just don't think that your friend has flown before without the permit via Sydney or Melbourne or other states, and you won't need it. So it's very, very important that you carry all the valid documents with you, and also check your permits if you require any of the permits. And another thing which I have seen in last few weeks was that some people were getting random calls from someone saying you are going on different dates. For example, someone booked 30th of January, but he was getting a random call from someone saying, no, your flight is on 18th of February. So please don't worry about this random kind of calls. Sometimes these marketing calls from different places happens, and there are some scams also happening. It was a quite unique and like a shock kind of thing for me, that one of my passengers said he got a call, no, your flight is on 18th. So please don't believe that. Always call your booking agent or wherever you have booked the flight, and make sure your flight is on the same time. If that happens, they will send you email as well and confirm everything. But please just don't believe the random call someone makes to you, and you feel it's not best. So other than that, please don't worry about if your self-reporting form or exemption form are rejected. But it is very, very mandatory now that you do apply exemption again, because I had some passengers recently, those who have flown on 8th of January last week, that one of the passenger could not get the exemption online. It was keep rejecting, and his son thought she'll just carry the COVID test and it should be fine. Earlier it used to be, but these days seems they are more strict, and she had to pay 5,000 on spot and get the COVID test done again. So I would recommend you to please make sure that you apply the exemption. One of the reason, guys, why the exemptions are rejected, the most common one is when you upload your report, it's not clear. Okay, so don't think that that you have uploaded a report and it's rejected. Just try to find out the reasons why it can be, because sometimes it's blurred, they can't see it, sometimes it doesn't mention a particular date. So let me just go through with you what is required on your COVID test report, the one you upload on Air Suvidha self-exemption form. So what very first important thing is the name should be exactly as per the passport. That's the passport of the passenger. So if they have a middle name, make sure that name is also there. Number 2 is about is our date of birth. So date of birth is also very important to be written on COVID test report. Number 3 is the test, the day and the time the test was taken. And number 4 is the COVID test report is negative. So these 4 things are mandatory. And when you are uploading, make sure it's clear. And all these 4 things are also clear when you are uploading the report. So that was another thing which I came across last week with a couple of passengers. And I just wanted to share with you all. all. So that's about it. Rest everything you guys already know. And if there are anything which you have any question, feel free to message us. And please don't forget to watch our last 12 episodes. There are so many questions which we have covered there, which you can see. And if you like this episode, please share with your family and friends and everywhere on Facebook. And if you have any question, feel free to message us on the same video on Australian Indian Radio, to us on Australian Oz India Travel page or Facebook page. And you can always call us on our hotline, which is 040-440-3264. We have landline numbers as well, which is flash on the website on here. And you can go on our website as well, which is www.ozindiatravel.com.au. There are quite a few options. And also one more thing I want to mention here. If you want to send your expression of interest for March flights, or you want to send expression of interest for India to Australia flights, whenever they becomes available, you can go on our website and just submit the inquiry from there. That will come in a record, and whenever there is a flight available, we'll contact you. So that's a new service which we have recently introduced, which you can take benefit of as well. And yeah, feel free to call us. And very proud to say once again, guys, so which I always mention, doesn't matter whether you booked with us or not, doesn't matter what little or big inquiries you have, you can always contact us via message, emails, or anything. Me or my team is always there around to help you, to guide you through the process, and you don't have to pay us anything. We can send you all the forms required. I saw some passengers booked online and they didn't know about the forms and they were worried later on. So yeah, once again, don't worry about that. If you have any questions, feel free to call us, and we are there with you. Amazing.
Once again, thank you very much for that very, very informative session. As we know, we have just come out of the lockdown, and especially all the information about the masks around this time. I think that is very, very important. And sometimes many things, sound very simple and logical, but people forget. And then at the worst of the times, they can get into a lot of trouble, because if people ask for it, that now you have to have it, and that's when, like that test that you mentioned. So once again, to all our listeners, this is a service that's been provided by Oz India Travel, that if you need any information, whether you have booked through them or not, you can still contact them and get that information, and that is so wonderful. And once again, wishing everyone all the very best for the number of festivals that we have around this time. Of course, the celebrations are a bit subdued because of the conditions, but once again, wishing everyone the very best for the festivals. And thank you once again, Tanvi, for that update. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, and stay safe.
Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, and enjoy festivities.